Alright. Hello fellow leather crafters. I offered to make a video on how to make a pretty basic strop today out of a piece of 1x4. Today you'll need that, some skirting leather, and some sandpaper of your personal preference. I usually prefer 300 grit automotive, and some wood glue, jigsaw, good old tape measure, razor knife, and a pencil. Now, what you always want to do is you actually want to examine your wood, kind of take a look at it, and you want to avoid any areas that look like they might be knotty or weak. As you can see here, kind of got a split down here, kind of goes up. And I will actually be cutting that off right about there. So what we're going to do is, I personally like mine about 10 inches long. So cut that off at 4 inches. So we're going to put that right about 14. So I'll make it that long. Alright, I got my two cuts squared off, so I'll be cutting that, and that's just waste. So, but this will be your strop. What we can do is give it about a 4-inch handle. You can see here, well, I'll do that with it. So you'll actually give it about a 4-inch handle. So you go up 4 inches. As you can see, I made a mark at 4 inches. And then you're going to want to make your handle. Kind of, however you personally feel. It's going to feel good in your hand. Because having something that feels good with your tools is always highly important. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use our jigsaw, cut those areas out, cut her off up there at the X. Alright, see you in a moment. Alright, so I went ahead and I cut that out. As you can see, it's not overly large, but it's got enough surface for you to be able to, hang on to it. Got a good grip. And then you can still, as you can see, put your leather one side, your sandpaper on the other. Alright, so we're going to go ahead, we're going to go over to my not so tidy workbench and we'll get everything put together. See you in a moment. Alright, so what I got here is some skirting leather. As you can see, that's about 1/4 inch thick. Get some focus on there. There we go. About 1/4 inch thick. And it covers our strop blank pretty nice and easy. And then I got some automotive waterproof 400. That's my personal preference. I just like a nice fine grit. So what we're going to do is got good old Mr. Gorilla Glue. And we're just going to take, and we're going to rough up the flesh side. Okay? Going to get that all roughed up so the glue will actually take to it. Give me a moment. I'm going to rough that up. Alright. As you can see, I gave it a little bit of a rough up, but I also went ahead and I scored it. Gave it some perpendicular lines. going across. And what that's going to do is that glue, especially this stuff, is going to get inside of there. It's going to give it a good bond to this wood. That's what you want. So we're going to take good old Mr. Gorilla Glue, if I can get the top off. And we're going to apply it to the wood. About like that. Now, you got to remember this stuff does expand. If you want to use wood glue or something else similar, that's a good thing. Do not use any form of contact cement because it'll just peel off. So, just kind of brush that around a little bit. Okay, got that all, there we go, got that all brushed around as you can see. And then we're going to take and we're going to put this scored side down, about like that, onto there. Give that a second. Then we're going to flip that over. Okay. Now, as you notice, this piece of sandpaper does not fit the whole thing, and that's okay. Doesn't have to. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put a little bit of Gorilla Glue. Now, we're not going to use nearly as much, as you can see, because we don't need as much for the paper. It doesn't have to stick quite as hard, but you still want a relatively smooth glue surface so you're not getting ripples. You want to get all the way to your edges for this so that your sandpaper doesn't move on you. Okay, make sure that you got it good. Sorry about how bad I am with this whole camera thing. I don't normally do this. So then we put our sandpaper on there, and we grab a couple clamps and clamp around. Be right back. Alright, so I've gone ahead and I've clamped everything down. As you can see, it's nice and happy. And I don't know if that'll show really well, but that Gorilla Glue is already trying to set up, and there we go. Trying to set up inside of there. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take and we're going to rough this up a little bit as well, but we're not going to do too much of it because we want something that our rouge can take to. Now, you might use your white rouge, but I use either good old red or black. You can get them just about any hardware store. I think this lump right here cost me about $3 at local Ace, and you know, I don't know where I got that one, but I know they're not too expensive. I think they're about $5 for a stick for the more aggressive. So when you're all done, all you got to do is kind of trim everything up, make it pretty, get it to where you like it, sand your edges down, and then you just kind of rough. You see how that is? All you got to do is just take some kind of a scratcher, doesn't matter what kind. You just kind of rough up your surface a little bit. See how that's, there we are, nice and rough. And then your rouge is going to take and impregnate in there. Kind of like that. And that will give you a nice surface to finish on. So, let's see. As you can see on this edge, very fine, very sharp. This is one of my homemade skiving knives. Just made it out of a lump of travertine and an old sawzall blade. But holds an edge really good. So, and I use my strop, one I made, to sharpen it. As you can see, it needs some attention. And I tend to use it for a pounding block. But there you go. If you got any questions, feel free and ask. I hope this helps you guys out there in the leathercraft world that we all live in. Have a good day.